Thanks for joining us today, where we're letting you and encouraging you to make Patch Tuesday the new Friday. So hopefully every week you can have a little celebration in your office as you look at a better patching solution. So we're going to talk about comparing WSUS to Shavlik Protect. If you've been at our events in the past, you know we are more about technology and less about PowerPoint. So with that, we're going to meet Productive in 1 minute. We're going to give a little bit of an overview of why you might be thinking about a third-party solution versus WSUS. We're going to give it to Clifton to do the Shavlik demo. I'll end it excuse me, with some software we love, and let's use the chat feature for Q&A throughout the program. So with that, let's meet Productive. Who is Productive Corporation? Well, Productive is a security and storage software expert for mid-sized companies. We have technical account execs that can help with your licensing questions so you don't have to navigate the publisher yourself or wait on hold. We have tons of resources for the products we specialize in. Brief product descriptions, key features, benefits, system requirements, requests for custom quotes, product documentation, trial downloads, all that's available at productivecorp.com. We also have tons of third-party content for mid-sized customers, P-guides, 2-minute tech, product comparison videos, all to give you a third-party perspective on current IT trends for the mid-market. All of this can be found on productivecorp.com/content. The bottom line is we have the resources to help you. Help at productivecorp.com, 800-726-4099. And one of the ways we help is by offering educational content. And so today, we're going to talk about a third-party patching solution versus WSUS. Now, some of you might say, hey, why do I need anything else? WSUS works great. Isn't Microsoft the bulk of my environment? Well, true, that is the case, but I will talk to you, and Clifton will show you that, a lot of things to think about in a third-party solution. Number one, supports non-Microsoft patches, Adobe Anyone. Some of the other stuff that comes through. It supports older Microsoft platforms that, Microsoft might bury or not allow you, you can patch it, but harder to find. Also, lets you build, a custom patch bundle for other applications that you have to push out, and gives you a nice framework for that. And I think most importantly is gives you great reporting, which Clifton will show you, so you really can understand, hey, where am I at? Where am I patched and up to date, and where may I be vulnerable, right? Live Update doesn't do that, right? It's kind of a one-way street. Did I do it? Did I not do it? It's system-based, not centrally managed, and I think is really, it is what it is. So they say it's free, but I would argue that it isn't actually free, or maybe to look at it another way, you don't really get the value that you'd get out of a third-party solution. So with that, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Slater, who he is going to show us a little bit about Shavlik Protect and take you through. Feel free to ask him as many questions as you have, and give him a warm virtual round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Clifton Slater. Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Clifton Slater. I'm a sales engineer for Shavlik. Specifically work on our patching products, and as we just discussed, the main difference is that we're going to offer you is a more complete solution than what WSUS offers today. And right now we're looking at the 9.0 version of our product, the most recent version of our product. And there's a very rich feature set that we offer here in comparison to what WSUS and the Microsoft solutions offer. Obviously, they do a very good job patching Microsoft. They understand their environment. They understand their products. But as we all know, we live in a technology world that has a plethora of products that increases that security risk that all organizations have to deal with. And so our product takes an approach that we want to be able to cover all of that for you guys. Some of the main differentiators that we can talk about, that we will talk about, is how do we patch, right? We have an agent-based solution or an agentless-based solution, all within the product. So for the server guys, they tend to really like the fact that they don't have to put an agent on their box in order to get things patched up, get that security audit done, and understand where the risk is, and then take the steps to remediate. And that's done through our machine grouping. And this is key. Machine groups allow you to segregate your environment, carve up the environment, if you will, so that we can more efficiently manage the environment. And you see I have a few test groups here, and we'll take a look at one right here. We'll just say I have a test group with one server in it. And as we look here in the middle section of our machine group, we can leverage different features to populate the group, to get our system scanned, and then from there, get them patched up, get them remediated. The highlights here would be we can leverage Active Directory. So if we need to link into your AD structure, we can do that, but we don't have to. We're not dependent just on Active Directory. We can also leverage IP addressing, whether it be a single IP or a range of IPs, or excuse me, an IP range. Typically, your DHCP scope will go ahead and scan that, especially for your workstation environment. And again, this is all agentless. We're not deploying agents. We don't have to track agents. We don't have to worry about new systems that get built, introduced into the environment. Hey, do they have an agent? We're going to be able to do this in an agentless fashion. One of the main differentiators of our product is this feature right here. It is called our hosted virtual machine feature. And this allows us to address a virtual environment in a very unique way. As a matter of fact, we're the only company today that can do the things that we can. And with that, what that means is I'm linked into my vCenter here. So if you're leveraging VMware as your virtual solution, this can become very handy. And as you can see from vCenter, I see my host at the top, my ESXi hypervisor, and then I can see all the virtual machines. If I had any templates built, and if you guys out there are leveraging templates to build your new VMs, they would show up as well. And this is important because with this particular feature, we can patch online VMs, we can patch offline VMs, and we can patch your templates so that that build process becomes a little bit easier when we're building those new VMs. They're already going to be patched up to date because we can patch that template. In addition to that, we can also take pre- and post snapshots before and after a deployment. So we always have that fallback to that last known good state. Again, another precaution in case something goes wrong with the patch, there's an issue, we don't have to troubleshoot the patch. We can just roll it back to that last known good state, hopefully keep production in line with where it should be, and then we can go ahead and troubleshoot, figure out what was going on. But we don't incur that downtime. Or we patch the box, then we went ahead and added some applications, and then we discovered a problem. Well, we can roll that back to that last known secure state where it was patched up before the application was added. So again, just that last known good state is sort of a security blanket that admins like to have in case things go wrong. Along with that, we can also patch the hypervisor. So we're able to patch in a VMware world the hypervisor, your VMs, Windows-based VMs, online or offline, your templates, as well as take those snapshots. Again, very unique feature set when it comes to managing your virtual environment. And obviously, features that WSUS will not provide, especially in a VMware world. So,
could you do any patching in a virtual? I mean, they just basically it's treated like an individual host. You're not
right. So the way
yeah.
the Microsoft solutions can patch, especially if you're leveraging WSUS within SCCM, you do have some capabilities around their Hyper-V solution that's just based on their solution. And we can patch Hyper-V as well. As long as those VMs are up and running, we're going to see them like physical boxes, and we're able to patch those VMs as well. So, you know, even if you have a virtual environment that's based on Hyper-V, our product is still going to be able to address that environment. the VMware world is where we get the unique capabilities.
Gotcha.
And you know, the patching. So whether it's a physical box, a virtual box, what are we able to address for you guys, right? Again, we're talking about differences with WSUS. WSUS is Microsoft only. And as you can see, this is just a sample within our template, and this is just a scan template. And the scan template is going to define what you're actually looking for. What are we auditing the environment against? Security patches, as you can see down here in the lower right-hand corner, are checked by default in our template. But we can look for security tools such as Windows Defender, malicious software removal tool, and we can look for non-security patches. So patches that address the stability or functionality of an application and not the security or risks to the environment through that application. So again, you can customize this to look for what you want in terms of the type of patches or updates we're going to discover, or the products. And right here, we can see intermixed with the Windows applications and components are third party, 7-Zip, Adobe, Apple, AT&T. You can go through the list. The biggest culprits, everyone knows, Adobe Flash, Java, and Firefox are the three most hacked applications today. Those are the applications the bad guys are using to get into the environment, right? No one's attacking Microsoft to penetrate your environment. They're attacking Microsoft once they get in. But that doorway are those third-party applications that WSUS just can't address today. And it's a pretty good list here, and this is just a subsection of what we cover. But within this filter, what we're looking at now, this allows me, again, to pick and choose. We have some clients that say, hey, we only want OS patching. That's all we're really concerned about right now. Your product does it more efficient, more accurate than WSUS, and that's all we're concerned about. But we do like the option to look at other things when we need to. Other organizations, they're really concerned about Java, as we all should be, right? It's a gateway application. So we can patch Java. We can say specifically only look for Java, or in certain instances where Java can't be upgraded because it actually may break our application if we upgrade our Java, we can say skip Java. So in this instance, I would say, hey, give me all security patches for everything except Java. That way, if it doesn't even show up in the results, we can't even accidentally deploy it and break something. So you have a lot of flexibility within our product to pinpoint applications. This patch filter setting option over here would allow us to get specific down to the actual patch itself. So I can say, hey, show me MS14-XXX, or let's skip MS14-XXX. The vendor of our application says if you apply that patch, it might actually cause problems with our application. So down to the actual patch level, we can exclude or be inclusive. If you're going through audits, right, as some of you may have experienced, and the auditor wants to see certain patches, we can make a specific scan to only look for those patches and scan the environment. So a very, very powerful tool in your hands to get exactly what you're looking for within our product.
So, Clifton, do you have any default compliance reports in there?
Not specific to a specific regulation such as maybe PCI or SOX or something along those lines, but our results will allow you to actually determine your compliance state. So from this view, we're looking at a summary of a scan that I've run in the past. I can go ahead and see which patches are installed or which patches are missing. And that's really what we're concerned about, whether we're just using our own internal best practices or whether we do have to follow a regulation at federal, state, or local level, or maybe PCI because we're dealing with credit card data, or even HIPAA because we're in the healthcare industry and that patient information has to be secured, right? Patching is a part of all of these regulations. And again, maybe we don't fall under a regulation, but we just want to use our internal best practice. Patching is going to fall under that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what we get here, this particular scan didn't have a lot of third-party, but all I did was run a security scan, a basic security scan of this particular box. And you can see I see my .NET framework, I see my Adobe Flash, my IE. So intermixed within the results are going to be our third-party applications that are vulnerable, as well as our Microsoft applications. And what's important here, and one of the differentiators, is what are we looking for when we're really auditing your environment. And you can see this information down here. Now this is granular information, but this is the way our scan engine works. And our scan engine is award-winning in the industry. It's known as the most accurate, most efficient scan engine when it comes to patching. So what we're doing is basically taking the vendor requirements. In this particular instance, Adobe says that this registry key, path, and value must be present, as well as the EXE must be on this particular version. And that's what we're looking at. Whether it be a Microsoft product or a third-party product, we're taking those vendor requirements and we're scanning each box against its operating system, service pack level, and installed applications, and looking for the actual updates that apply based on those criteria. When it comes to those updates, we're looking at the vendor's requirements for that patch.
Got it.
And again, to reiterate, what we're looking at now is agentless. We haven't installed an agent. We haven't rolled out an agent. We don't have to check for heartbeats. All we have to do is populate our machine group and say scan. And once we scan, we're going to get this information that you see here returned to us. Now, on the installed patches, the reason I would point this out, A, we may want to know what's installed, right? Especially if we're going through an audit or we need to show management, hey, we were able to go ahead and get the environment secured by applying patches X, Y, and Z. We can show that in this screen here. We can always go ahead, right-click, and export this out to a CSV if we just need a quick report. We have a report gallery that's a little bit more intensive in terms of what it can show. But for quick reports, export to a CSV is really a good option. As well, on our patches installed, we also have the ability to uninstall patches. Right here we see a column called uninstall. Well, let's just drag this over here. Now, if the vendor built rollback into a patch, we can go ahead and uninstall it from our console. But it does depend on that one caveat. The vendor has to have built the uninstall into the patch. If they didn't, we're going to get the grayed out no's that we see here. The icon is grayed out and we see a no. But in the instances where they have, the icon is lit and we see a yes. So this could potentially be a time saver, especially if we have a patch that is causing a systemic problem throughout the environment. It affects a wide swath of boxes that we really need to remediate, get this patch taken off. We can right-click and say uninstall. Doesn't matter if it's one box or if it's 500 boxes that we noticed the problem on. As long as that vendor built uninstall into the patch, we can centralize that uninstall process. The areas where we have no, unfortunately for those particular patches, we do have to go to the local box and uninstall it locally. But this is the first place we would be able to check. And if it's yes and lit, hey, we can get this done rather quickly. So our scanning was based on a template, right? We went through and we looked at a new patch scan template, gave us a lot of options, a lot of control over exactly what we're looking for. Our deployments are the same way. So if I say deploy all missing patches, first of all, we have scheduling, and this is important. We can dictate when patches are going to get installed on systems. And this is really good for organizations that have defined maintenance windows, especially for their server environment. If I have a defined maintenance window, I definitely want to accomplish all these tasks within that window because we have that scheduled downtime. We've probably scheduled our downtime to allow for reboots and reboot, any type of reboot process we have. So our product will work right within that workflow. The first option we have is copy but do not install. So if for any reason you don't want to automate the installation of the patches, but we still want to assess those boxes, see what's missing, and at least get those patches on the box, this is a really good option. We have quite a few clients that stage their patches on certain boxes in their environment, and then from there they use whatever process their work calls for to get the patches installed. But we can at least still assess the box, show them which patches are missing, and copy them down to the target systems. Other than that, we're going to automate it. Install immediately, pretty self-explanatory. Schedule at, right? Here's where our scheduling options really come into play. I can run a scan today on a Tuesday, even though my maintenance window isn't until Saturday. So once my scan is complete, I can go ahead and schedule my installation for the appropriate day and time according to our process. And then typically for our workstation environment, install it next reboot. Don't know many server admins that use install it next reboot, but if you ever had an occasion, we have that option. Workstation side of the house, a little bit different. They might use this to get those boxes patched up. So we can go ahead and meet your scheduling needs for whenever you need these patches to get deployed, get installed. Again, those defined maintenance windows, we can go ahead and set this up to work within that existing workflow. And if you don't have defined maintenance windows, our product allows you to start building that process if that's a direction that you think would work better for your organization versus what you're using today, right? Our product is going to allow you to implement that type of process based on the controls that we have. Now, the top part is, again, a template, right? We scan according to a template. We deploy according to a template. And what does this template allow us to do? Not all these tabs would be used on every deployment, but some of the highlights are in our general tab, remove temp files. We can save you space, right? After I deploy these patches, these service packs, those install packages take up a lot of space. We don't want to have these packages sitting out there, especially on our servers, our workstations. So this particular feature, remove temp files, really comes into play, and our clients find it really handy. Once we install that 150 meg service pack and we're verified that it's good to go, we're going to delete that MSI, reclaim that space. Same thing with the patches. Shutdown SQL, shutdown IIS. If any of you guys out there are responsible for patching your SQL environment or your IIS environment, one of the things that's really important is to have these services shut down while we're installing the patch. So the patch can go ahead and modify whatever resource it needs to secure that box. Well, we'll automatically shut down SQL, shut down IIS, free up those resources. The patch goes in without any problems, unhindered. Post-deployment reboot, really, really essential, right? What type of control do I have over rebooting my boxes, especially my servers, right? And we talked about being able to deploy the patches during our maintenance windows and using our features to fit within that workflow. Your reboot control is going to be much more rich with Protect than it is with WSUS. First, I have different options. Never reboot, always reboot, reboot when needed, right? Now, for security patches, our best practices are always reboot. If I'm deploying security patches, I want to make sure I reboot. But once I do that, I can control that reboot immediately after the installation, next occurrence of a specified time, in case I need to, for any reason, delay that reboot. Might be other tasks going on, other maintenance operations on these particular boxes. I may have deployed the patches at 8 in the morning, but I need to delay that reboot until later on. Workstations or servers, you have that option, even to the point of delaying for a certain day and time. So a lot of good control just with these top two options right here. And then our power actions, we have a plethora, right? We can restart the box, put it to sleep, put it in hibernate, restart it and then shut it down, or just install the patches, shut the box down. Depending on what your process calls for or what may be going on at that particular time in your environment, one of these options should fit your needs. The bottom section, typically this is for your end user interaction, right? If I'm patching boxes, rebooting systems in my desktop environment, and I want to work with my end user, I don't want to just arbitrarily reboot boxes. This is what this allows us to do. Put up a warning, letting them know that the box is about to be rebooted with some different time options here, a delay. We can even give them the options to cancel the automatic restart, automatically restart when I log off, restart now, or give me an alert 1 minute before the restart occurs. So again, working with your end users, not just arbitrarily shutting down the boxes. Distribution servers,
right,
I'm sorry, Todd?
Can you customize that message?
Unfortunately, not yet. That is something we've gotten feedback on. I think our dev team is looking into that, being able to customize the actual messaging. As of right now, though, it's pretty set in stone. But I think it does get across the fact that, IT is performing a function. And with our options, your end users have the ability to go ahead and based on the options that are given, have different features that they can leverage in case they don't want that box restarted immediately. They can go ahead and delay that, in some instances cancel it, but the messaging right now is sort of set in stone.
Okay. Hey, you got about 5 minutes left before we're at half past the hour, just to give you kind of a heads up.
Yep, we'll end it up in the next 2 or 3 minutes here.
Okay, perfect.
Distribution servers, in case you guys have remote locations, right, and don't want to push patches, because our product is a push. So from the console, we're going to push all the patches to the target systems. If they exist at remote locations, we might not want to push all those patches through our WAN links. So a distribution server is a really good option. Just a distribution point. It's a network share. It's not really a server. You don't have to build a new VM or have a physical box built for this. Just set up a share, and we're going to push those patches to the share at that local network, and then tell those systems to pull from that share, localizing all that traffic on that LAN and not having all of that coming over the WAN. Really good option if bandwidth is a concern, especially to those remote locations. On our hosted VM template, and this is the last option we'll look at here, this is where we can take those snapshots I mentioned earlier. If we use our hosted virtual machine option to scan our virtual environment, once we get those results and we're ready to deploy patches, we can take a pre-deployment snapshot or post-deployment snapshot. Again, reiterating that last known good state that we all feel more comfortable having just in case something goes wrong. Here's where we're going to be able to provide that for your virtual environment. Cool. And then the last option we'll take a look at here, guys, in the last minute or so, our agent. As I mentioned, we do have an agent as well, right? Laptops that are frequently off the network. You can't account for them. We want to put an agent on there. If we have systems that are in a secure environment, that our agentless technology is going to be blocked by security, we want to have an agent on those boxes as well. DMZ systems, systems that are on an air-gap network, for example, they might want to have an agent deployed to them. The rich feature, or the main feature about our agent right here is sync with the Protect cloud. So now what you can do is, let's say I have a laptop roaming. It's never on the network. This individual rarely ever connects to my private network. We can put our agent on that box, and it will protect that box, scanning on a schedule, patching on a schedule, and reporting back with our cloud solution. So we have a cloud console that acts as a broker between your internal console and your agents out in the wild, right? So now that individual never has to come into your office, never has to VPN, never has to connect to your internal network when it comes to being able to patch that box and keep it secure. Our agent will run on that box, scan it, find all the missing patches, download them from the vendor, patch that box, and send all reporting and updates to the cloud console, which then talks with on port 443 to your internal console. So again, you don't have to poke any holes in your firewall, compromise your security in any way. The cloud broker or our cloud console will take care of all that communication. So in case you do need an agent, we do have a really robust agent that can go ahead and get those boxes patched up and get them secure. And with that, I think we've highlighted some of the main differences between our product and WSUS, the virtual capabilities, the ability to patch third-party patches in conjunction with the Microsoft patching, the customization capabilities, the reboot and scheduling control that you do have, the ability to put an agent on your boxes regardless of where they may be in the world and still have them protected. A lot of rich features, again, that we're going to provide for a total patching solution that WSUS, which is good at the Microsoft patching, but outside of that, it has a ways to go to protect your entire environment. Any questions at this time?
Yeah, no, that's fantastic stuff. You know, we've sold Shavlik for a long time, and it's such a great, elegant solution. Very straightforward to use, and yet so powerful. And then with the extension of the virtual capabilities, I think it's just there's a reason why it's such a great product out there. As we wait for some final questions to come in, thank you so much, Clifton. Really appreciate it. One other product that we love, you know, we think as a one-two punch, we think it's important to have a great third-party solution. We also think you should be using a product like CCleaner. You guys probably know, at least 1 billion of you have downloaded the free product. The CCleaner Network Edition is the commercial version, the centralized managed version of it. So just like a centralized patching solution, you are able to push out and clean consoles from your management console and then clean your systems. Works great. Also gets rid of a lot of vulnerabilities. We have a great Shavlik CCleaner bundle if you are interested. So your account representatives will be following up with you. If you want to see, a Shavlik demo custom to your environment, more than happy to do that. Otherwise, your account rep will follow up with any questions, and we really appreciate your time. We know you have tons of things you could be doing during the day, and the fact that you spend 30 minutes with us is very much appreciated. Once again, Clifton, fantastic presentation. Really appreciate it. Everybody else, wish that you have a fantastic day and balance of your week. I'm Todd Obert from Productive, signing off. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.